Okay.
Okay. So for you guys who don't know, Ariana was one of my clients who's gone through the program. And what I want to do is to share some things, from her experience through going through the program, and for her to give you guys some honest, her opinion on how she found it. So, hello, Ariana.
Hi.
Do you want to introduce yourself a bit in terms of your niche and what you do?
Sure. So I'm Ariana Stowe. I live in the DC metro area in the US, and I'm a full-time personal trainer as well as a group instructor. And I now also have online clients, and I teach women how to lose belly fat and build sexy curves in 90 days. And I work with career driven women who are very much like myself, who not only want to lose weight but also want to get their confidence back. So yeah, I've been doing this, honestly, what is it, October, so only 10 months. This is my first year of business, and I am super grateful to even be sharing this kind of a transformation story, because like, I started this year knowing that I wanted to do fitness full time. So I quit my job in December. I left corporate America. I used to be a manager where I was working with like 105 people, and I was really stressed, and I just really like didn't like what I was doing a lot. And I did it for like 2.5 years, and just knew that I needed to just do something else, because I really felt like I was wasting my time like working for somebody else's dream. So fitness was always just a thing for me that I like to do on the side as a side hustle. Fitness for me changed my life. When I stopped playing sports and I gained 40 pounds, like, I really didn't know who I was anymore. I was overweight, I was depressed, I was unhappy. And I knew that I couldn't let something like my health get in the way of my bigger dreams, which at the time I wanted to be a lawyer. And here I am, not a lawyer 5 years
Mhm.
later. I'm now a personal trainer. But over time, just like having that journey and that experience, other women just started reaching out to me. And I said, why don't I give it a shot and help them out? And that introduced this fitness thing to me. And so to really be here, as a full-time entrepreneur, and somehow by the grace of God, taking a lot of risks, but getting a lot of rewards from that, has been life changing. So
Okay. So, where was your business actually at before you started working together? Because you were doing some personal training, right? But you wanted to build your online business.
yeah, so I'm gonna pull the curtain a little bit on personal training, and I don't want to scare anybody, but I want to keep it real. So I got picked up to do in-home personal training where I live. So a company hired me to be an in-home trainer. And I make a percentage off of what the customer pays for the trainer. So for example, if it's $65 an hour, I only make $40. So if you can imagine, that means that I need a lot of clients to make decent money, let alone the fact that I'm already losing good money on the front end. And so my first month out, I guess I knew that this wasn't going to be a good solution for me. It's like 1 2 week period. I get paid every 2 weeks from this job. I worked 36 hours. I was finally able to make like at least $1,000, but I've never had another 2 week period where I've had that many clients. And that was really eye opening to me, because I'm like, I want to help 1,000 women. That's my goal. And I'm not going to be able to do that physically, because working 36 hours is like 9 or 10 clients. And that means I physically have to drive to all those clients. So my method was completely wrong. And then the fact that I've never gotten that many clients, like that $1,000 that I got then turned to 300 in the next 2 weeks. And
Mhm.
it was around that time, this was like back in the spring, that I started looking for other options to make more money online, because the in-person thing was really draining me, and it wasn't really worth my time for the amount of money that I was making.
Mhm. Okay. So, how long did you actually want to start your online coaching business then? Or where was it at before we started working together?
Yeah, so I had my call with you, and I told you that I was charging people $20 a month for online
Mhm.
coaching, if you remember that. And
Yes.
it was not in a great place, because I lost the momentum to help my clients for $20, especially when I started doing full-time one-on-one training. I didn't have the time to do my calls. And I also found that my clients weren't super responsive. Like, they were really good on the front end. Now, it was like a beta test group and things like that, but the test failed. I mean, it just really wasn't in a good place. And I knew that my value, because my learning curve really jumped up once I started doing one-on-one training, I was just like, I need to charge more, but I don't even know how to do that. And so my online business was pretty much non-existent before I started working with you.
So you had a beta test group for $20 a month, which you knew you were massively undercharging, and the clients you got didn't really put in the work. How many clients did you have at the price point?
Oh my gosh, I guess I ended up attracting about 15 clients at that price point, with a beta
Okay.
test off jump, and 90% of them came from Instagram. I literally didn't know them. I had a couple
Hmm.
of friends that, supported me, but everybody else was complete strangers, that trusted me to help them out. So I had 15
Okay.
clients in that dollar month group.
Okay, right. So how long were you actually trying to grow your online business for? Or, for how long did you know, hey, actually, I want to go online?
Yeah, so I started going online when I started doing my business full time. So if you can imagine, like, actually, my my shift was like, I started online knowing that I wanted to work online for myself full time. Like, that's what I wanted to do.
Hmm.
And I literally just thought in my mind that this $20 a month thing was just going to take off. So I did the in-home training to back up the fact that I wasn't making enough money online. So that started like January, February of this year. So I was spinning my wheels for about 4 months, not really making a lot of money. And then I had to start doing the in-home training.
Okay. And then what things did you actually try with growing your online coaching business
I
apart from
didn't
the
really
beta test group?
Yeah, I didn't really try much, honestly. Like, I just was promoting it on Instagram. I was doing Instagram stories and telling people about it, getting people excited. But looking back, like, you can definitely tell, like, I don't think I was very excited, even though I pretended to be, because I knew that it was $20. Like,
Mm,
I think after a while, I was like psyching myself up about something that I really didn't even want to do, because I'm just like, it was just like a lot for an amount that didn't really match the service that I was giving. So looking back at some of my marketing, like, you could tell it was just like, I was happy this is my program and things like that, but I kind of knew in the back of my mind subconsciously that this wasn't like working. So, but I just tried the self promotion on Instagram and social media, um, and that was pretty much it.
okay, so it's kind of like you've been stuck for quite a few months charging $20 and it didn't really go anywhere, right? So I know we connected and then we spoke a bit after. So
Yeah.
how did you feel? What was the sign for you where you were like, hey, I've got to do something, I've got to invest? Like how did you feel right before you actually invested?
Yeah. So I got to give a little context to how we met. So I found you on Facebook, I think from a group maybe,
Hmm.
or it could have been just for the fact that I had been doing some stuff related to ClickFunnels, and then like the algorithm knew that, and then you started popping up on my feed. I think you popped up on my feed because I'm in your niche for your ads, right? And so I keep seeing you popping up and popping up, and you really spoke to me through your marketing, because you were saying like, are you tired of not like earning enough money to like run your online coach? Like, are you tired of spinning the wheels and not knowing what to do? And I was just like, oh my gosh, like me, right? And so you messaged me because I commented on a post, and I didn't message you back. And I don't know why I didn't message you back, but I just like didn't respond for whatever reason, even though like you were delivered on a platter, like, hey, I'm here to help. And so then you posted again, and I saw you again like maybe a month later. And literally for me, I was like, oh my God, nothing has changed. She's still talking to me. Like, I need to reach out. So then I commented on the post, said, hey, I just messaged you back from like months ago. Like, please checking. Like, okay, I'll
Hmm.
get back to you. Then we, talked a little bit more and got on the phone. So then once we had our conversation, I think the thing that really stood out to me is that you were able to tap into some pain that I had about like where I wanted my business to go, and the fact that like deep down I knew that it wasn't going to take me to the goals that I want to have, and my goals are like to really like take care of my family more than anything else. And like once you tapped into that, and I knew that I was not going to get there with what I was doing, I literally felt like I had no choice but to find a way to make the investment. And so I made a deposit. and literally didn't know how I was going to come up with the rest of the money. But as you know, like that same week, I had had some stuff going on with my car, and my grandparents had offered me money to pay for a new car, and it was like the same amount of money that I could have invested in the program. And I just said, hey, like, can we make a can we make a trade? Like, will you consider loaning me this money so that I can like get my business off the ground, versus getting me a car that right now I don't really need. I'm okay with the car that I have, or I'll just figure something else out. And they said yes. So it was, so after that happened, I think that was just really incredible, because it was kind of like everything was coming together, because it was like I knew that I found the right coach for what I wanted to do, and then I found a way to make it work. And it was interesting because we had like a 2-week window before I was going to start, and I got back to you within like 3 days, like, hey, I have the money, like let's go ahead and do this thing. So
Mm,
that was really exciting. I was nervous just because I was like anxious to see what was going to happen. Like, I don't think I was nervous to get started. I was just like excited, and I was just kind of like, okay, like we only have, there's only one way this can go, because I already felt like I was at the bottom, like I was
mm.
just like, this can only go up.
So you were almost at the point where you felt like, hey, I've been trying to do this for months. I'm charging $20. I know what I'm currently doing isn't sustainable. And
Hmm.
I'm literally at rock bottom. I have nothing to lose, right? Because you're actually you were, before you invested, in a really unique situation where a lot of people feel like, hey, I want to do this, but I can't because I don't have the money.
Yeah.
Whereas for you, you didn't have the money and you had to get resourceful to actually try and make it happen, right?
Yeah.
And that was borrowing money from your grandparents and using that money to invest in your business as opposed to getting a new car. So,
Yeah.
I mean, what were the thoughts going through your mind as you did that and as you decided to actually take the leap and go for it? Do you feel like you were super scared, or what were the thoughts going through your mind before you invested? And how did you really come to that conclusion where you were kind of like, fuck it, I have to take the leap and I have to do this? Was it a specific moment for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. We had the call, and two things happened. I really like got within myself and just said, like, I had like a heart to heart with my subconscious. It was kind of like if we do this, like, we've got to really commit to, like, are you committed to doing this work, right? Like, you know that it's not going to be easy, because if it was easy, everybody would have all this money. So like, if we're going to make this kind of investment, even before I asked my grandparents, like, if we're going to do this, like, we've got to really do this, right? And I think for me, it was kind of like I had already made somewhat of an investment. So it was just like, if I could already give some kind of an investment and not even know what the outcome is, I can figure out the rest. And that was like confidence to me that I could really do it, because I already put my money where my mouth was. It was like, okay, I've already like given something. And then now I will never forget the call with my grandparents, because I was nervous asking them, and I honestly didn't think they were going to help. So what happened was, I had the conversation. So I think we talked on maybe like a Wednesday. I call my grandparents every Friday. I called them like I do every Friday, just to kind of check in, and just casually was just like, hey, grandpa, like, remember that, money that you said you're going to give me for the car? I had a really good, amazing meeting with a new coach that's going to help me to earn more money in my business. You guys know I've been kind of struggling. I'm really tired right now with doing all the hours that I'm doing, and I've been looking for a way out. So, would you consider investing that money into the business instead of getting me the car? That would just mean a lot for me, and it would get me to the next level that I want to go. And so, in that moment, like, I remember, like, I was maybe like shaking a little bit, like, I don't know, I was pretty nervous on the phone with them. And my grandpa just said, I'll think about it. And I said, okay, that's great, like, you know and then from that point I said, okay, I have 2 weeks. I already was thinking about another plan. I was like, I have 2 weeks. If I save every penny from training and then maybe pick up a class or two, I could probably come up with maybe another like significant deposit at least, right? I was like, at least I can do that, and then maybe push the date out 2 weeks. But like, whatever it was, I was just like, I've got to find a way to do this, because it's kind of like, you when you feel something strongly that you can do it, there really isn't anything that's going to stop you from doing it anyway. And then I also knew that it was going to come back. And I think that was the thing that really motivated me. And I was just like, I've already seen this twice in the last 2 months. I already know that what I'm doing isn't working. And if I don't do this now, it's just going to come back. And I'd rather start this now in March in March versus like starting it in, actually it was June, but versus starting it 6 months from now. And then like, I just kind of knew what my life was going to look like. You know what I mean? It was just like, I
Mhm.
knew what my path was, and
Yeah.
I knew that I wanted to like make moves. And I also knew too, something that's important to keep in mind is like, entrepreneurship and fitness is my plan A. I don't really have a plan B. So
Mhm.
it's like a lot of us like have backup plans to get ourselves out of situations, but like I know that at this point I'm no good working for somebody else. So I might as well give all of my effort to work for myself, because why not? Like who else
Mhm.
is going to do it for me? I voluntarily quit my job to do this. So it's like I really don't have any other excuses as to why not.
Yeah, for sure. And for a lot of people, I mean, they're scared, right? They feel like, oh, it's an investment. What if I invest and I don't make my money back and I've lost all this money? Well, did you feel that? Were you scared? Like, how did you overcome that fear?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't think I was really scared, because I was so convicted that this was going to work.
Mm,
Because I said, even if I make one sale in 3 months, it would still like I would still be able to like pay my grandparents back even off of one sale. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know how
mhm.
much I was going to charge or anything, but I was like, and even if I made one, it would be worth it, because that would show myself that I could do it, and that I would just need to figure out how to keep the formula going to continue to make more sales. I just like I wasn't scared, because I just felt like I just need to do one. Like I just need to figure this out. It wasn't a
Mhm.
scary thing once I felt like I had the system and the right coach to help me.
Yeah, it was kind of like you were thinking at it from a place of, hey, worst case scenario, I'm already at the bottom. I literally have nothing to lose. Worst case scenario, I make one sell and it takes me a bit longer to get my investment back.
Yeah,
But I know that if I don't do this, I'm going to be stuck here for the rest of my life, sort of thing. So,
exactly.
talking about the sales, then, what were your results like? So, before you were doing PT, you were kind of sick and tired of it, and with your online coaching, you had done random bits here and there, and we're charging $20 a month, right? What is your price point now?
Yeah, so my price point now, and I actually use this for every single client that reaches out to me, whether they want to be one-on-one in person or online, is $1,800.
Hmm.
But if they join me in that moment on the call and make a deposit in the call, then it's 1,400.
Hmm.
So I don't even know what that percentage is, but it's clearly very different. And what's cool is that even with my in-home clients, it's the same price, because if my rates are like 65 an hour. So if you work with me at least twice a week, that's about $500 a month. So 3 months is 1,500. So it's literally the same price. And it makes more sense for me as a business owner to charge them a full amount up front, because then they have a higher level of commitment to follow through.
Mm. So you went from $20 to 1,800, or well,
Yeah.
1,400.
Yeah.
That's significant, right? And a lot of the time we feel like, hey, we can't make that much of a jump, or, are we really worth charging that much? But for you, how many clients did you get and what sort of time frame? So do you remember when you actually landed your first client? Was it like within a week or 2 weeks?
Yeah. So let's say I started with you, I guess it ended up being early July.
Mhm.
And I took about a week to get through the trainings and everything, and really a week of procrastinating because I was kind of nervous. But I started putting out content, and I started just like positioning myself as like a new authority figure in the space with my messaging and the way that I attracted my new clients. And so I booked a call, and I ended up closing my first ever sales call at $1,400. Like, let's do this thing.
Mhm.
And it's funny because what we learn is that after you share the price, you're just supposed to be quiet. And I was quiet and just kind of like sitting there, like literally shaking. And she's like, "Here's my card." And I was like, literally, like my mouth had dropped. Thank goodness I wasn't on a Zoom call, because she probably would have been weirded out. I like freaked out. But and then I
Mm.
remember thinking like, "Oh my goodness, like I can't believe it." And I called my grandparents, and
Mhm.
they were so happy for me. And that's when I knew that like it's never about the money. It's about like the impact that you can have on people's lives. Like for my grandparents loaning me this money and having this positive experience, like my first time out the gate, and then what I could offer at a higher level to my clients. Like that's what it was all about. So it was just like a very just like jaw-dropping, life-changing moment. And since then, that first person has now graduated. She's my first graduate, and I still have 7 clients that I work with now,
Mhm.
and they've all paid that price point or on some kind of a payment system up until now. So, and I'm actually almost at capacity because I'm still doing in-home
Mm.
training, but I'm working with these 7 women, and just to give a little bit of highlights of where they're at, like one of my girls recently got a new job and she's been trying to get a new job. And so what I explained to her is that in terms of mindset, like because you've made this investment into yourself, now the universe can align to give you the things that you've always wanted because you're finally like being a good steward on and taking action on the things that you want. And I was like, my life is literally a living example of this, and I'm just a regular person like you, and now you're experiencing the same thing because you've taken action. Like that's how this all works. That's how it all conspires together. And some of my other girls are, losing inches and losing weight and just having success. Like one girl worked with a trainer for 3 months, never lost weight. After a week working with me, she was down 2 pounds. So it's like that just is further confirmation that like, yes, you guys are paying me this money, but it's not about the money. It's about the fact that I'm fully 100% committed to getting you results. I've always been like that, but now my investment in it is a lot higher because I feel like I'm getting paid what I'm worth, and I'm attracting people that want to work with me. And that is just giving me a lot of confidence.
Yeah. And so you've gone from $20 here and there to actually, 7 to 8 clients at 1,400.
Yeah.
So for you, graduating from our coaching, how do you feel like, what's next for you? I know you mentioned you were able to travel to California as well. What have you
Yeah.
been managed to do? What have you managed to do with the revenue that you've generated?
Yeah, it's such an awesome question. So with the revenue that I've generated, number one, the most important thing that you and I talked about is I've been able to pay down some of my debt. So I remember telling that I have all these sticky notes, on the side of my computer, and I still have some, but they've definitely gone down significantly. Number two, I was able to fully fund a trip out west, flights, meals, everything, which
Mhm.
is a pretty big deal in your first year of business, in my opinion, and I think it would be for anybody, to actually take a vacation and go visit my brother in California and go to Arizona to a fitness conference. So I'll talk a little bit of California, then I'll talk about Arizona. But so the last time and the only time I've been to California was with my family, and my mother got my plane ticket. And, I was with my mother and my father, paid for all the meals. I literally didn't have to come out of pocket for anything the first time that I went, and probably would not have been able to because I had some money, but at the time I was living on my own. So I didn't have a lot because I was investing so much into just like my daily life, living expenses, paying rent and stuff like that in a
Mhm.
very high cost of living area. So I didn't know if I'd ever be able to go to California on my own. Like I didn't know how I was gonna be able to afford it. But I used a little bit of every sale that I made to go ahead and make this trip happen because I already really knew that I wanted to go to this fitness conference that I had found at about around the same time you and I started working together. And I
Mhm.
remember like having this sticky note on my wall of the conference. It was gonna be like $500 for the ticket, $600 for the room, and all these expenses and food. And I was just like, man, that's a lot of money. But like I gotta get there. And then ended up connecting with the founder of the event and just really got motivated to get my butt there. And so it just made sense to tie this trip in together. And I had the resources to do it. And so I was able to get myself to California. I
Mhm.
stayed there for 5 days, which was amazing. And then I ended up also going to Arizona to a fitness conference that I was there for 4 days, and just got so much value and so much confirmation. And you don't actually even know this, I don't think, but I was also awarded an opportunity to be casted in a magazine, an international magazine.
No
Yeah,
way.
yeah. It's based out of London. And what's so crazy is like, in comparison to the other women that were at this event, like women were very much like competition ready, in
Mhm.
shape, really cut. And I, have had amazing transformation. My body's definitely not where I would want it to be, like in comparison maybe to where some of the girls are at now. And so it was kind of interesting because I was like the thickest girl like on stage, and
Mhm.
but it was just amazing because I'm like, it's about your story and it's about what you have to offer. And I think like my story in general this year has just been amazing. So it's
Mhm.
like the fact that that happened and that I got that recognition was just like the icing on the cake. But I feel like just like you and I just talked about my client, like it's all about taking action.
Mhm.
Like had I not taken action to like change something in my business, I would not have changed my life. And because I changed my life, I'm doing things that I want to
Hmm.
do to really show like that I'm taking this fitness thing very seriously. This isn't just a hobby anymore. This is a business. I want to learn. I want to grow. I want to take things to the next level. And then like to then get recognized for it is just really the icing on the cake. And so it was a very, very surreal, moment for me because I'm just
Hmm.
like, wow, like I can't believe this all started with like me going on Facebook and messaging Hannah
Yeah.
and following up and look where we are now. Like before my first year of business, like, 'cause I've only been in business for 10 months and like things are just like multiplying and it's just so amazing. Like I'm so grateful for you and just for your coaching and being there for me as a client and even when I was like stuck in the muck, like I made my first sale. I don't think I made a sale for 2 weeks after that. And I was really just spinning my wheels, but I just told myself, you have to keep going because like this isn't a race. This isn't like, there's no like prize or anything. It's just like you versus you every day. And so it's like when you need to change things, switch things up. And I had been dragging my heels on a task that you asked us to do. And when I finally like got off of that, that's how I ended up actually getting the rest of my clients. The majority of them was from doing that one thing. And it's just like, you got to do the work. You can't give up. You can't be afraid to switch things up. And like, because of all that, like, I was able to then achieve
Yes.
some in my life.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Amazing. So you've literally gone from corporate to personal trainer stuck in a business model that was broken to part-time online coach side gig charging $20 to actually paid and powerful business owner
Yeah.
running, an actual full-time online business online, right?
Absolutely.
So what advice do you have for people who have been in your position and they're kind of, on their fence? What advice do you have?
Yeah. So number one, get off the fence because the fence is your comfort zone. And you have to understand that if if this is what you feel you have been called to do, I want to preface that because a lot of people sometimes kind of just like fall into fitness and they don't really have like that grit to really grind it out and to do it. If that is you and you feel like this is something you're called to do, get off the fence because once you step out of your comfort zone, that's where everything that you've been trying to figure out and do on your own and waste your time, like that's where that thing that you want to do is there. And so for me, it was this coaching program. And don't even like don't even let the price point or the how get in the way of the fact that what you want to really do this because I'm like, I promise you guys, like I'm like a regular person. Like I harp on that because I'm no one special. I have this vision of where I want my business to go. And I have this vision of serving 1,000 women. I have this vision of like helping women feel the way that I feel, like confident in their skin, whether they have cellulite or six pack abs, like confident in their abilities to do what they desire to do, which is my story. So it's just like, if that's you and you have this vision to inspire others, like get off the fence. Like
Mhm.
what are you really waiting for? Like what do you hope is going to happen? Because you have to let your ego down and let your subconscious like know that you can't do this on your own and it's okay to ask for help and it's okay if that help is an investment that you're not comfortable with because if you really want to do this you have no choice but to make it happen. Like you're going to rise up to the occasion and make it happen, just like what you ask your clients to do, to trust you to lose the weight or to build their bodies and build muscle. Like it's the same thing, so why aren't you doing it for yourself?
Mhm.
Right? Because if I had not taken that leap, I would still be, I mean, honestly, I don't even think I would have the confidence to still be doing what I do because I would feel so frustrated because that's what I was feeling, that I didn't know why what I was doing wasn't working. So it's like I had no choice but to seek out for mentorship and to seek out guidance and help. Because just like your clients that come to you and ask for help from you as an expert, you got to do the same thing for your business. And if you want to go where you want to go, like you got to start doing different things. Because if nothing changes, nothing is going to change. And that's something that we say to our clients on the phone. It's like, you got to just come to realize that like where you're at right now versus where you're trying to go, you're missing something, which is not knowing how to do it. So like, if you make that investment into someone that can help you, know that and believe that it can happen, know that that's going to be the catalyst for change. because it was for me. I mean, without a shadow of a doubt. Like, just to kind of follow up on where I'm going to go with this, what I learned at the conference is that my one-to-one coaching program is my high ticket. Like, that's my one branch. I can do two more programs that are different. One is group coaching, and then one is like a DIY program. So I
Hmm.
already have ideas of how I'm going to create that. And it's like, I also have resources in my back pocket now to go ahead and make that happen. And it's like, I would not have even the slightest bit of confidence to move forward if I didn't know that this thing could already work for me, and that this thing is now my bread and butter, and that I can position myself as an authority, especially as I continue to grow and get certifications and publications and press and like all this fun stuff.
Hmm.
It's like, I'm always going to have this thing to come back to. And I wouldn't have it if I didn't make this investment and if I didn't get off the fence.
Hmm. Incredible. So, Ariana, I'm so proud of you as your coach. And in just 3 months, you've actually generated, I think it's just a little over 10K, right?
Yeah.
So, where can people find you, if they want to check you out or they want to have, or they have any questions? What is your Instagram? What's your Facebook? Where can people find you?
Yeah, so my Instagram is at Ariana Stowe, ArianaStowe.
Mhm.
Same thing on Facebook, Ariana Stowe. I have a page as well as a profile. You can literally get at me through the DMs. I do a lot of polls in my stories and stuff like that, where I'll be reaching out and just kind of checking in to see if any other fitness pros need help. Because without a shadow of a doubt, like, Hannah is the coach that can help you to take things from where you are to where you're trying to go. Like, I'm not just saying that because she's looking at me on camera right now. It's the truth. I knew it was the truth. And I think also another thing I want to just point out is that I specifically was looking for a woman to help me, because I work with women and I am a woman. So it's like, I want to be aligned with someone that can already speak to kind of like where I'm at and where I'm coming from, and someone that has the experience that's done it before. So that was another point for me that just kind of sold it home. Not to mention that through this program, what I've seen, and I've actually put a couple people onto you already, is that you know exactly what you're doing, what you're talking about, and that there's no question that's ever gone unanswered. Like, you know what you're doing, and like, you say that you know what you're doing, but it's not like smoke. Like, you're not here trying to like just like make money and not help people. Like, you literally know what you're doing. You're literally here to help people, and you've just inspired me to do so much and just to think so much bigger about my business and about my life. And I
Mhm.
thank you so much for that. I'm very grateful for you. So if you want to know how to get to Hannah, like, reach out to me. I can definitely help you and get you to her so that you can go ahead and get your business moving in the right direction as well. Because it's time to get off the fence, and it's time to take that investment and to take that leap and to really believe in yourself and know that you can do it. Because if I can do it, like, literally anybody can do this.
Amazing. So, guys, make sure you check her out. Her Instagram is at Ariana Stowe. And Ariana, thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome.
Yay!